Well, tell you what, the city of Tshwane, as well as the entire South Africa, is at the moment buzzing with excitement as it gears up for it's a spectacle. It's going to be hosting the World Rowing Masters Regatta, where Roodepoort Dam will meet the rowers with the world's most competitive waters. So the competition, set to take place from the 21st to the 24th of September, is going to be marking the first ever world rowing event on African water, and adding to a very tall list, though, of international hosting experiences South Africa has had and still will have this year. And we keep reminding you about these events. We've had the Netball World Cup, the Women's Cricket World Cup earlier this year. There's going to be an upcoming Down Syndrome International Gymnastics World Cup and World Champs also here in South Africa. There's so much more to talk about, but my oh my, rowing right there in the center of the conversation. Let's get in touch now with Kerr to find out how the preparations are going for this exciting tournament. And he is Rowing SA President. Sean, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Robert, hi. Thanks for having me.
Ready and raring to go?
We are, yeah. I attended the local organising committee's debrief meeting last night, and they are most certainly ready to go. Venue's looking fantastic, and I think the weather's going to play along this week as well.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag in terms of weather. A very sunny weekend, and then today almost back to winter. What are they projecting for the time? As I said, the tournament is going to be on.
Yeah, good weather, hot weather towards the end of the week, and low winds, which is perfect for an international rowing regatta at Roodepoort.
Historic, though. First ever on the continent.
Yeah, Robert, we're pretty privileged, and thank World Rowing for attributing the event to South Africa. It shows confidence in their what they think our abilities are to host an event, and we will host a world-class regatta at Roodepoort.
What do you think was so different? What stood out from a South African perspective? I know that previously Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, etc., we've stood out. We've done well.
So we have on the international stage. Our national team has done very well. Our juniors, our under-23s have done well. We have a good history in the Olympic Games, contributing to the medals table for Team South Africa. So I think that had something to do with it. World Rowing also has a responsibility to move their events around the world. Sure. And, like any federation or international federation, they're looking for opportunities to host it in different areas other than Europe, which is mainly where sort of rowing is based. And South Africa was, we think, an easy attribution in 2019.
I was going to ask you that. Was there a trigger maybe from yourselves to say, let's test it, let's see if we are, knowing that you will? Or did the World Rowing say, hey, guys, come on, let's do it here?
Absolutely. We put a bid in against many other cities and countries around the world, and it was attributed, like as I say, in 2019 to us. And I just remember when our name came out of the envelope, it was one of those reveals, right? And it was Pretoria, South Africa. And we put that bid in. A lot of work's gone into it, and here we are 4 years later.
All that's happening in Tshwane, Pretoria right now doesn't worry you in terms of the event itself, because we've seen a couple of weeks. These things are front and center of the news. That doesn't affect the tournament at all.
Look, it's a consideration, and we have to plan for it. But I think where the event is and where it's based, we're out of some of that action, and we'll make sure our guests are safe over the course of the week.
You know what grabbed my attention? The Masters Regatta. So the regatta, when it comes to the Masters, I'll tell you why it caught my attention, because I saw a 90-year-old who will be participating, carrying his own boat, etc. I'm like, how is that humanly possible? Is this something that happens a lot, though, Sean, in terms of rowing?
So at the Masters level, that's exactly that. Masters start at age 27. That's your A category, and they run all the way through to M, which is your over 85, and then we stop counting. In the alphabet. And you're right, Robert, we've got an athlete from the USA who's 95 competing this week. Our oldest female competitor is 84. She's from Australia. And our very own South African is 93, John Price. So we're well represented. I think we're over 27 octogenarians, which are over 80s.
And you have full-on, there's no medical shock that's expected to happen, but it's
we got to plan for that event as well,
you
right?
Got to plan. But they will be brave enough, though. At 95, like you say, 90, etc., that's advanced age. But for them to still be doing this says what about the sport itself?
It's interesting you ask that question. We often turn around to people who want to start rowing, and it doesn't matter what sort of age or stage you are in your life. Rowing is a sport for life. We've got our youngest athletes that start picking up rowing are age 10, And like I say, John Price is now 93 and still on the water.
And for them as the masters, though, what's the key? Is it just about personal achievement, endearment? Surely there's a prize for them?
So yeah, as I said earlier, there's A category right through to M, and they will be competing to be the best in the world in their category. And I've attended a couple of these in sort of the run up to our event. The competition is fierce. Make no mistake, these guys have trained hard, and particularly with it being outside of Europe, I'd say the best of the best are coming here to win a medal.
Again, seated where you are. Last week, it was around about Wednesday, the Minister of Sport was talking about school sport, the indaba that happened
on Friday.
Yeah, that was happening, I think, for the past 2 days. It was built up Wednesday, Thursday. It was a 2-day event.
That's right.
And I mean, I remember rowing, as far as school is concerned, I was scared of it because for me, it was like, you know what, I can't swim. So if anything happens, the boat topples, I'm in trouble. How much of rowing is still spread across just the schools? Because that, for me, is the key interest. A lot of it is developed within a school setup. Sean, maybe just a quick breakdown. I know it's away from the event, but that just triggered a thought to say, is there support that you need? Are you getting the kind of support that you deserve?
So I think we're pretty fortunate in the school space. Sort of our water-based rowing, our largest constituency is schools. Dominated in the Western Cape, KZN, Eastern Cape, and up here in Gauteng. I was doing another event. Rowing can only happen on good bodies of water. So in a water scarce country like South Africa, that's pretty tough. But we have a large indoor rowing program. So those ergo machines you see in the gym.
Yeah.
And our development officer, Virginia Mabasu, has gone from every corner in our country across all the districts. We're now rowing out of over 60 districts in the country, and it's great. And they're all on indoor rows. So I was down at our indoor rowing champs in Umlazi in Durban a couple of weeks ago, and we had over 500 athletes come and compete just on the indoor rowing machine.
That's major.
Yeah, it's big.
And those machines, I'm sure, don't come cheap.
They don't, and we've got to make sure that as a federation we find funding for that. I think we get good support from government. We get good support from SASCOC. And we've got to go and raise the rest of that money.
But you talk about government and support. This is the World Cup. This is the World Champs. This is what the world gets to see. What about the support then? We see it happen. Cricket, government comes through, they put their bid. Rugby comes in, government comes through, they put their bid. We've seen in football, 2010 World Cup, maybe it might not ever happen again on the African continent, but we saw it. They came through, they did their bid, gave the guarantees, you name it, Sean. What about the government support, just especially for this event?
So for this event, we've partnered with the Gauteng Tourism Authority. They've been great and come to the party with funding, as have Gauteng Sport. We've had good support from the National Department of Sport to host the event. Obviously, jumping through the hoops for permission and that sort of thing. So Robert, we could always do with more money, but I think we've been well supported in that front. On top of, if I could say, obviously the private sponsors as well.
No, for sure. There's always a need for that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Slagging, improving, where would you put it?
I think post-COVID, it's a tough question, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of bills to pay. Maybe sport isn't the top of the agenda. I think we are getting a fair share of what's available.
I mean, very, very tough, because I look at SA medalists from each of the Olympics. They're going to be competing as well at the same championships. Tell me more about that, Sean.
At this championship here? Yeah, we've got 12 of our own Olympians competing over the course of this weekend. 3 guys out of the gold medal, 4 from London are competing. The bronze medalist from Athens is competing, and our 2 silver medalists from Rio are competing, and then a raft of other athletes who have represented South Africa at the Olympics who are now masters and are on the water racing this weekend. It's phenomenal.
Wow. And I mean, I'm just looking at the time, 5 minutes to go, but let's get into the mind. Thursday is here. I watched the Rugby World Cup, saw the opening ceremony. I just thought it was unique. It was a French touch. Probably more different than I've ever seen. What can we expect come Thursday? I mean, how are you getting this showpiece off to the world?
Well, there's already entertainment there at the venue tonight. It's all got South African flavour. When we hosted this event, we said, well, what do we want to do? And we said we want to host a world-class event with a truly African experience. And, Thursday is the official opening ceremony. We've got gumboot dancing, majosi. We've got couple of choirs from schools, and we've really roped in everybody to make it a truly African experience.
Spectacle, sounds like, eh?
Absolutely, we hope so.
Well, so you got to draw in that crowd, you know, because come the Olympic Games, we also need to shine.
Yes. So just on that route, we've just qualified a boat at the World Championship for Paris next year. So that's one boat in the bag. Couple more to go, but it's always nice to qualify a boat at the World Championship the year before.
A bit of good news. A bit of good news. Thanks for sharing that, though, because it was interesting of you to talk about Soweto. So the developmental side of things is very much on track, I'm assuming here, Sean.
You could always do more.
Yeah.
We could always do more.
What do you think you're lacking?
Comes down to funding. Funding is always tough. You know, and again, converting the indoor program into a water-based program. So the indoor discipline is not an Olympic event. The water, 2,000 meter racing is an Olympic event. And we've got to bring more kids through the system into that junior team, into the under 23 team, so that we can create a proper nursery for the Olympic team.
What about the environmental side of things? Because I saw your face changing there. It must ask a lot, doesn't it?
I feel like you got a crib sheet on that side of the...
I wish I did.
No, I mentioned it earlier, right? So we row in large bodies of water.
Yeah.
They need to be clean. They need to be hyacinth-free. Those have been our biggest challenges. So Rudolph Dam, over the last 30 years, has been covered in hyacinth on and off, sort of in 7-year intervals. And I think that's where we've battled with a bit of support to get proper funding to get that hyacinth off the water. And then 2 of our sponsors, have come to the party, and we've got world-breaking technology in Rudolph Dam now to actually clean the water, given the levels of effluent that are flowing into the dam, which are unsafe, and we're cleaning it up at its source and keeping the dam clean.
Talk to me, just on a personal level. What does this mean to Sean Kerr right now? You've been at the helm, president of Rowing SA, a world event at our doorstep, happening. We can count the hours now, can't we? What does this mean to you and your reign?
Robert, it's I was one of the 4 people who sort of birthed the idea of this thing in 2018 before we put our bid in, and to see it come to fruition is incredible. And as a president, I've had a good run. I really have had a good run. Olympic medals. We've made it through COVID, and we're hosting a world rowing event on African soil.
What about the public, though? Because I'm just checking out here on Twitter, someone saying where, how, times, etc. Give us a bit more info on that one.
So the venue's Rudolph Dam, as you mentioned. The entrance to Rudolph Dam is on the Moloto Road, just north of Pretoria. We're not charging an entry fee to come and watch. There is, however, an entry fee to get into the nature reserve. It's 50 Rand a car, and you can come and spend the whole week with us if you like. We'd love to see you.
Nice. I love that. And obviously TV coverage.
There is, yeah. We're live streaming through the course of the week.
Okay.
And there are various media houses covering it.
Which is the easiest one? I mean, you look at our options here. I want to be here. I want to see what I can watch on television.
Yeah, none of those, I'm afraid.
None of those.
Couple of the European guys are in town, yeah.
Okay. We'll do the streaming one. We'll keep the listeners updated about it. But Sean, all I can say is great news that you bring into our Reaction Monday here today. It's been a crazy show. You've been listening. You heard all of it. But I think this really tops it as far as your event is concerned. And I wish you the best of luck. Well done.
Tough to follow after rugby, cricket and football. So thanks for having us on a Monday.
Never. Trust me. Rowing SA President Sean Kerr with us right here at Marawa Sports Worldwide. It is a Monday. Coming to an end is our Reaction Monday. So go out there and support the rowers. It's an event that we fought hard for. 2019, as you said, it was handed over to South Africa. All right, live on 947, Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live. Marawa Sports Worldwide was brought to you by Season 2 of Welcome to Wrexham, streaming from the 13th of September. So you can go and watch that immediately. It is now streaming on Disney+.
Robert Marawa, live on 947.